Hello, everyone. Today, I would like to share my thoughts about the conflict between traditional values and modern individualism based on my own life experience. My name is Sinta Terarini. I grew up in Indonesia in a family with 4 children. I'm the only daughter, while my other 3 siblings are all boys. Looking back, I realized that my parents had different expectations for me simply because I was a girl. Since I was young, I was encouraged to learn domestic responsibilities. I was expected to know how to cook, clean the house, organize household activities, and help with daily chores. Meanwhile, my brothers were not expected to do these things to the same extent. Instead, they had more freedom to spend time outside the house or pursue their own interests. At that time, I did not really question this expectation because they were considered normal in our culture. Also, in Indonesia, many families believe that daughters should be prepared to become good wives and mothers in the future. Learning household skill was seen as an important investment for a woman's life. As I grew up older, however, I began to develop different dreams. I realized that I love learning. I enjoyed reading, writing, and exploring new ideas. I wanted to continue my education as far as possible and build a meaningful professional career. This was the beginning of my international dilemma. On one hand, I respected the traditional values that I had been taught since childhood. I understood why my parents wanted me to master domestic skill because I'm a girl. Simple as that. These skills are practical and useful. Everyone, regardless of gender, benefits from knowing how to manage daily life. On the other hand, I also believe that my future should not be determined solely by my gender. I wanted the same opportunity to grow intellectually and professionally. I believe that women should have the freedom to pursue higher education and meaningful careers without being judged for having ambition beyond the household. Sometimes these two perspectives seem to compete with each other. The traditional perspective emphasizes family responsibility, obedience, and preparation for future family life. From this point of view, prioritizing domestic responsibility is not seen as discrimination, but rather as expression of love, care, and cultural values that have been passed down through generation until now. Meanwhile, the modern perspective emphasizes equality, personal freedom, and self-development. It argues that men and women should have equal opportunities in education, employment, and leadership. Personal ambitions are not considered selfish, but part of becoming the best version of oneself. Instead of choosing one side completely, I decided to combine both perspectives. I continued learning domestic skill because I believe they are valuable life skill. Today, I can cook, manage a household, and take care of myself independently. I do not regret learning these things. However, I also work hard to achieve my educational goals. That's why I'm here now, as a student of Psychology Universitas Insan Cita, Indonesia. But I also complete my bachelor's degree in communication science with honors. Graduating with distinction was one of the proudest moments of my life because it showed that my academic aspirations were achieved despite the expectation placed upon me. After that, I decided not to stop learning. I am currently pursuing another bachelor's degree in psychology, as I mentioned earlier, because I believe education is a long life journey. Besides studying, I also work professionally as a writer and have been involved in various social and public health projects, especially those related to HIV awareness, sexual and reproductive health, and community education. This experiment has shown me that women are capable of contributing not only to their families, but also to society through education, research, and professional work. Of course, this journey was not always easy. There were moments when balancing family expectation, academic responsibility, and professional work become exhausting. Sometimes I questioned whether I was trying to do much. However, every challenge also strengthened my confidence. I realized that education did not make me less respectful toward my family. In fact, education helped me understand my family more deeply, communicate more effectively, and make wiser decisions in life. Likewise, learning domestic skill did not reduce my professional ambition. Instead, this skill made me more independent because I could manage my own life without depending on others. Looking back, I do not think this experience is about choosing between tradition and modernity. I think it's about balance. Traditional family have many positive aspects. They teach responsibility, gratitude, respect for parents, and care for family members. These are values that I still appreciate today. At the same time, modern ideals remind us that everyone deserves equal opportunity regardless of gender. Education and career development should be available to anyone who is willing to work hard. Personally, I believe both perspectives can coexist. Women should not have to choose between being educated and knowing how to manage a household. Likewise, men should also be encouraged to learn domestic responsibility because these are essential life skills, not gender specific duties. If families teach both son and daughter to be independent, responsible, and ambitious, society will become more equal and supportive for everyone. In conclusion, growing up as the only daughter among four siblings taught me valuable lessons about balancing cultural expectation and personal dreams. I am grateful that I learned practical life skills from my family, but I am especially equally grateful that I continue pursuing higher education and building my career. My experience has convinced me that respecting tradition doesn't mean giving up personal ambition. Instead, we can preserve valuable cultural values while also embracing equality, education, and lifelong learning. Thank you very much for listening. I'm Sinta Tiaridini, student of Psychology, Universitas Insan Cita, Indonesia.